Hello everyone, Mighty Benaya here with the March Chatters map, and things are heating up quite nicely. We haven't had any significant conflicts, but we have had a lot of back and forth pulling and trying to finagle our way into a favorable position. So there are really three major fronts. First front is Iceland. So this unit right here that is chasing me, that is a battleship accompanied by several infantry. And what I tried to do is I took a massive infantry. It was about 50 troops. So I've had some significant removal of my troops. But I sailed them across the sea and tried to land on Iceland. But at the same time, Greenland had a battleship that came out of this port right here, and had several infantry, and he was headed down to Zone 2, is what I'll say. And he turned around and started chasing me. Well, that has given me about a day or so before his battleship shows up. So some significant stalling happening over here. It also has given me the chance to add a submarine or two to the area, and I will talk about that here in a minute. Second area of interest is the British Isles. So we had significant forces moved to the British Isles. Probably several hundred between these two big stacks is several hundred troops. And they were sitting down here looking to cross the channel. And as you can see here, there is a three cruisers, and a small contingent looking to, it looks like they might be looking to land, but we've got artillery waiting in a fortified, nearly level 5 fort, ready to pummel them as soon as they come into range. I've got 4 artillery, and Austria-Hungary has 1 artillery there, but also 3 more coming up, and then there's 2 more coming up, and then I've got 1 more coming up over here. So significant artillery advantage really against these 3 cruisers. So this is a potential landing zone. My guess, my concern is that they're going to try to land over here, where I don't have quite as many forces. I do have a significant contingent, but it's not anywhere near as potent as what we have down here in France. So I have been creating, and I'm going to go over strategy a little bit more here in a minute. I have been creating submarines, submersibles, and I think that I'm going to plant my 2 submarines that I have in between England and Scandinavia in order to combat any landings that they might want to do in conjunction with their battleship up here. The last big conflict zone, the last hot zone, is down here in Spain. So in Spain, there are a bunch of big stacks that are bouncing back and forth, and nobody is committing. And that's part of the problem, is there's no committed push. But as you can see here, like, this is 33 artillery with 300, like, it's a significant force from Austria-Hungary that is battling against the forces of Spain, US, North Canada, and Greenland. And so it's a real hot zone, but there's nothing really happening other than just lots of repositioning and vying for control, taking provinces so that you can control the roads and how fast somebody is, trying to trap each other. And that's really all that's happening. There is 1 Austria-Hungary battleship down here bombarding North Africa, but not really much happening there. There is a single battleship, an American battleship here, guarding the strait, but there's also submarines headed in that direction. So there is no real clear team that is winning. Now, the last time that we talked, the last time that I uploaded a video, I said that Libya would likely determine the course of this game. And it came to my attention yesterday that Libya had shared intelligence with all of these guys. And that is very foreboding. So I sent him a message and I said, look, Libya, you have shared intelligence with them. That's dangerous for you. And if you want to give me if you want to share intelligence with me, like if we want to have this relationship, then I'm fine. Like, I'm not going to hold it against you for considering working with them. However, we are the better team to work with. It is more beneficial for you to work with us than it is for you to work with them. And I listed out several reasons. He has not responded to my several inquiries, and I'm far away from him, but he's not responded to Romania either. There's not a lot of forces over here, but Romania doesn't have a lot of forces over here either. So we will see what transpires. We need to watch Libya pretty carefully. If he stays neutral, I don't care. But if he was to join our side, then he could sweep in. We have reveal all armies due to spy action on the United States. The United States has no military in South Africa. Nobody. Spain has very few military. These are all like single troops and nobody here, right? And so Libya could just claim all this territory. And I am a big proponent of sticking to your word, what you've said, and I don't know what Libya has said to this other coalition. However, if we think about it, the benefit of joining us is he gets all of Africa easily. Like, without even trying, he gets all of Africa. He can defend it well. That's an increase in his points. And there's very little cost to that. There's very little liability there. The cost of siding with the Americas is he risks a lot of his land, because that is a huge front where we could land, right? If he attacked us, we could counterattack. We have significant forces. So if he joins the war, logically, without looking at, human emotion or looking at deals that he has already made, which come into play, it makes more sense for him to side with us. And I tried to explain that to him, and I might have been a little bit harsh, but that's kind of where I left it, is there's no reason. And when I say I might have been a little bit harsh, when I said, hey, the liability of you being at war with us is bigger than you can handle. And yeah, we may be in a bad position by the end of it, but look who's closer. Like, is it easier for us to go after Libya, or is it easier for us to go after the U.S.? It's much easier for us to go after Libya, because he's right there, and we have, that's where all of our forces are. So I tried to convince him to at least remain neutral. He has not attacked as of yet, but we're going to have to continue to watch. So where do we go from here? We've kind of stalemated them. Many of their troops are in the UK. We have all of Northern Europe, with the exception of Sweden, who has not been in a single fight. It's an AI, and it's not been in a single fight. And this one province that Norway has. In addition, I think Norway has, these two provinces here. And then I let him keep these over here. I expect they will eventually rebel, but Norway's got a few provinces. But I've got the north. Austria-Hungary has most of Central Europe, and Romania has most of Eastern Europe and the Middle East. But we are being attacked. There's a significant, look at all of those dots, and they're all coming towards Europe. Now, they're all like one stacks, but they already have like there's 137 troops there, and there's just infantry. They have some tanks, they have some artillery, they have armored cars, right? They have a few cavalry, but it's going to take them a long time to build cavalry and send them all the way over. So once what has already landed is destroyed, Europe wins because it is on Europe's side of the map. If we were invading the US, it'd be different. But once what is here is destroyed, we can reinforce this more quickly than they can. So, I have genuinely underestimated the power of submarines in the latest version of the game. After the update, so before the update, let me go back. Before the update, submarines were invisible, slow cruisers without a bombardment ability. They really weren't great. They were very underwhelming in my opinion, because they had the exact same attack, the same health. You had to have 4 of them to take on a battleship, right? And they were cheaper, but they weren't really cheaper when you stacked on 4 of them. The only benefit that they had is you couldn't see them unless you had airplanes. In this patch, they still have no ranged attack, but they're faster than battleships. Not significantly faster. They're only a little bit faster, but they're faster than battleships and they're faster than troop transports. They are still invisible unless you have air vehicles to spot them, right? I'm gonna pull one up just so that we can look at it when we're talking to you. While I'm talking, we can look. They have 40 damage. 40 damage is the equivalent of what a battleship does. So a submarine can 1v1 a battleship. 2 submarines can kill a battleship instead of 4 submarines being able to take on 1 battleship. So that is a significant boost to their viability, right? Their speed is 30, their view range is 90. Let's look at a battleship real quick. Hit points is 100. That's the one thing that I haven't really looked at. Okay, so it takes 2 of them to take on a battleship because battleships have double the hit points. One of them can fight pretty hard against a battleship. 2 of them can destroy a battleship because it's double the damage and matching hit points. So submarines are significantly more powerful in this iteration of the game than they were in the previous iteration. So we've got 2 submarines. It's at 78.6 strength. If it was just the battleship, it would be 40. If it was just the battleship and the 2 cruisers, it would be 60. So these infantry, 137 infantry, are providing 200 strength, which infantry usually provide like 5 strength when they're attacked. So that is a huge bonus to naval warfare. And so the plan is to produce a bunch of submarines, as many submarines as possible to rule the seas. Because you can stick a submarine and just start taking out all of these 1s and 2s. Like, that's not a problem. You can use a submarine to take out battleships. This stack is going to be a problem, but this stack is only going to be a problem because of the infantry. If you have 2 subs, it can take out a battleship and 2 cruisers without too much issue. It would severely damage the subs, and it might come down to a little bit of RNG, but it would severely damage them, if not take them out. 3 subs will take them out, and subs are cheaper than battleships. So here's my new take on naval warfare. I used to think that you should only build cruisers, or at least build primarily cruisers, because they're fast, they can get places quickly, Yes, battleships outrange them, but you don't take engagements with battleships. You take engagements on land. Yes, artillery can outrange them, but if you have 3 battleships versus 3 artillery, you just move them to a different place and attack from somewhere else. And then the artillery have to move, and then you move back around. You can outgame them. You can outskirmish artillery and battleships with cruisers. But now I think the game has changed. Cruisers and battleships are mobile artillery platforms to bombard the land, but they are not the key to ruling the seas. The key to ruling the seas is submarines. Submarines can't catch cruisers, and so cruisers are decent against subs, but, nope, I don't want the daily deal. But subs can prevent anything from traveling over the ocean. And I didn't appreciate that before, but I do now. So that is kind of where I am thinking, 20 minutes. I'm not going to go another 20 minutes on this video. Are you kidding me? So that is what the team is planning on doing. We're producing a lot of submarines, and we are going to cut off the reinforcements because, again, once all of these are dead, they have no forces, and we can continue, we can push towards them. This is the majority of their army. And worst case scenario, Libya joins the battle for our enemies. Our plan still stays the same. We still have to cut off the reinforcements. But once we cut off the reinforcements, instead of gathering our forces and pushing, all we have to do is gather our forces and go south. And that's why it's dangerous for Libya. And this is why you have to think about all of the ramifications, all the geographic ramifications of your alliances. Is all we have to do, if he joins against us, is cut off the reinforcements, which is going to be a task, but we're building towards it. So cut off the reinforcements and then just move south. And we already have places where we can knock him out. If we come over here, we already have places, artillery can branch that gap, and we just move through what the enemy we already have and in through Libya's territory. Now, I don't want to fight Libya, and I want to make that very clear. I don't want him to side against us. But if he does, there's a plan in place. And that's something that you need to consider whenever you're playing is, what is the worst thing that can happen here? How am I going to deal with that? How does my plan already address that? So that's where our plan is. We've talked about pushing now, but I think it's important to cut off the reinforcements to solidify this as our continent. Once we solidify this as our continent and eliminate any troop movement across the ocean, we don't have to eliminate any ships, but we have to eliminate any troop movement. Once we can eliminate any major troop movement, once we can put balloons back in the ocean and watch, then we will be able to finish off the remnants that are invading Europe and potentially deal with any other enemies that we have. That's where I'm at right now. I'm excited to continue to pursue this. Something that came up today, and again, this is going to be posted a week from when I'm recording it. So I may or may not be able to, this may or may not come to pass. But we have been invited to participate in a tournament. So my plan is to cast that. In addition, we are going to have, I'm going to be casting, and I will probably delay it. I believe I'm going to cast the 31 player match that we're going to have for the universe. So if you want to join games like this, where everybody's active for the long haul, join the universe and join one of our alliances, if applicable, so that you can join competitive matches where people are playing instead of, I've joined a couple of matches recently where everybody just went AI and it's not fun to just fight AI. I mean, it can be fun if you just like, if you don't like a challenge, if you don't like interacting with people, but it just gets kind of boring. So if you want to play with people, if you want to work with people that you can know that you can depend on, you know, coalitions that you know you can depend on, join our Discord. There's going to be always something happening. Like I said, we're going to have an alliance tournament. We're going to have a challenge potentially here pretty quickly, an alliance challenge. We're going to be hosting games monthly. So join the Discord. We're excited to have you. And like and share this video so that we can get more people who enjoy this type of content and enjoy these types of games to join the universe so that we can all together have these kinds of games together. That's my goal, is growing the community, teaching people how to play, and I'm excited to continue. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Soli Deo Gloria, and I will see you next time.